Well, welcome. We are so excited that you are here, and we are excited that you have chosen to pursue your graduate degree at the Anderson School of Management. We have a fantastic staff team here. I am Megan Connor, and I am the Director of Student Services, so I oversee academic advisement and career services here at Anderson. And our goal is to integrate your academic advisement with career services to ensure that you can land your dream job when you graduate. So I'd like to introduce Nicole Capehart, who is the graduate advisor.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I am the graduate advisor. So that means that I am your advisor for your time in the program. So just a quick plug, if you guys have questions, concerns, you need degree plans, you'll be meeting with me. You can definitely send me some emails. I can get back to you really well that way. I know it's hard for a lot of you to get to campus, you're working and that kind of thing. So we can definitely talk through email. But today I'm here to ask you to plug into our social media. We have a presence on Twitter, on Facebook, and LinkedIn. Anybody out there use Facebook at all? Is that like a thing of the past now? Or are you guys all using it? If you use Facebook, you should definitely like us. I put timely updates on there. So media in some other way and that you would like to see us utilize, let me know, because we definitely want to be where you are and get you the information you need in a way that you'll see it and use it. Thanks.
So in addition to connecting with our staff here at Anderson, we want you to be connected to the business community. Anderson has an Anderson Alumni Council, and its members are leaders in different organizations here in Albuquerque and in the greater New Mexico area. They work for companies such as Bank of the West, Los Alamos National Labs. So they're a great resource for you. If you kind of know what career or what area you are interested in, it's great to get connected with them. They can serve as a mentor to you while you're in the program. And now I'd like to introduce Natalie Mead. She is the Career Services Manager.
It's great to be here with you all today. I am the Career Services Manager, and my role is to bring jobs and internships to Anderson students, both undergraduate and graduate. I just want to talk with you briefly about the importance of an internship. I think you probably all know that 75% of employers say that when they're looking for the ideal candidate for the job that they're going to fill, they want somebody with relevant work experience. And I know many of you are probably already working. Kudos to you, that's great. But there may be some of you who are going directly from their undergraduate program to graduate program. If you're doing that, an internship is so important, and we can help you land an internship so that you're gaining additional relevant work experience. We're real flexible with our internships, and you can get academic credit for completing an internship, so please make sure that you're checking out the Anderson Career Services website. We have internships listed. If you have an idea but you don't have a contact, please come see us. We will help you. You're going to hear more from my partner in crime, Kate, in just a little bit. She's the other half of Career Services, but it's great to be here with you all.
And now I'd like to introduce our Associate Dean, Rob Del Campo, who's going to give a brief welcome and then lead you all in a fun icebreaker.
Hopefully fun. Right? All right, thank you guys. I think I can project out well enough that everyone can hear. I'm Rob Del Campo. I'm the Associate Dean of the Anderson School of Management, just recently appointed starting July 1st, and I just wanted to be here, first of all, to welcome you all to the MBA program. I am an alum of Anderson. I have an undergraduate and I have an MBA from here, and then I left and did PhD stuff, and then I came back onto the faculty about 8 years ago. But I have been in that seat, well, maybe not that exact seat because this building didn't exist, but that same spot as you were about 14, 15 something years ago. Anyway, it seems like it was just yesterday. You know, they're supposed to be funny. You guys are supposed to be reacting. It's okay. Thank you, appreciate it. Definitely the ice needs to be broken here very soon. But we have a wonderful team here to support you guys. Definitely the best in my memory and experience of being here at the school. Everyone here does a great job in their position, and you guys are just about to embark on a great adventure. In terms of advising, in terms of career services, we want to help you and take down any obstacles that might get in your way to your success. So please do see the people in career services, the advising folks. everyone you hear from today, even myself, should there come an issue that you feel needs to be escalated, my office is there to take care of those things, all right? So as the Associate Dean, I do oversee the MBA program, and ultimately any student issues would come to me as well. So hopefully I get to see you for problems that I can fix, not things that are disciplinary in nature that we need to take care of, but I'm sure you'll be seeing me around, and I also still do teach as well. So, okay. So there's definitely, I'm like freezing in here because there's some ice that needs to be broken here. And as a person who does organizational behavior, human resource management type things, I'm called upon from time to time to do some icebreaker, experiential learning kind of things. And now you may have seen this particular icebreaker before. It's become very popular as it is the subject of a TED Talk that's out there, and we'll watch a brief clip of that when we're complete here. You might be wondering what this tape is for, right? But this is for a little activity that we're going to do to put you guys in some teams here and to see how you approach particular problems. Now, as I tell my classes, a lot of times people see these things and I give them, some Tinker toys or some crayons or some, poker chips, and they're like, what the hell is this all about? I'm a graduate student. I don't understand why I could learn anything from this. Trust me, these things are done at even the Harvards, of the world, the MIT type places. These are all well tested, well experimented out, very useful experiential learning activities, okay? Sometimes I refer to them as structured experiences. That's fancy talk for activity if you're in my class, okay? So I'm gonna put you guys in groups of 4, okay? And then I'm gonna hand you out some materials, and then we'll go ahead and get started, okay? All right, so how about we'll just go by these 4. So you 4. Okay, so how do we apply this to your situation? Well, a couple of takeaways here, right? So first of all, you guys are here. You're admitted to a graduate program. You're pursuing a master's degree, right? Oh, you're pretty smart. Well, guess what? So is everyone else, right? So we need to understand that everyone has something to contribute to this project, right? Generally, throughout your studies, you're going to be placed in teams where you're going to need to operate, doing things together, whatever. Sometimes the leader of the team is the person who steps back and lets someone else do it, okay? So don't feel like you always need to be right up there. Second thing, prototyping and perspective taking is important. Sometimes you may not be successful, right? Things are slightly different, right? Try it again. And number 3, no one can do this challenge on their own, right? You're more likely to be successful when you have lots of people with lots of different skills. We have a team that's set up here for you guys to be successful, okay? The Career Services Center is really a student success center. We want to see you be successful throughout your whole career. We're not here to flunk half of you out in the first semester. We're not here to graduate you, but then say, oh, you go find your own job, whatever. We're here to support you throughout your academic career and your professional career. So don't forget that. Remember that we have a great team in place here. You're going to hear from some faculty about the wonderful programs that we have as well. And like I said, if me or my office can help you in any way to remove any obstacles to you being successful, please do let me know, and please do let anyone else there know. So thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. How many people here are actually in the Master of Accounting program? A few. Okay. So you already know that you want to do accounting, and you know why accounting matters. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more towards the MBA people, although what I say also I think is still relevant for the MAC folks. Accounting has been referred to as the language of business. It is accounting numbers, calculations, and techniques that provide the information for much of the decision making that occurs within organizations, whether it's strategic, marketing, or otherwise. Accounting always impacts those sorts of decisions. So if you want to be a player within an organization, you need to be able to speak its language. You need to be able to understand how accounting statements are put together. You need to be able to understand the effects that proposed transactions may have on those statements, because sometimes decisions within organizations are as much about the effects on the financial statements as they are about other matters. So if you are interested in being able to do those things, learning to combine the quantitative and calculative, which is what you usually think of as accounting, with being able to communicate that in a reasonable and helpful style. And also always keeping in mind the ethical ramifications of what you're doing then accounting is something that you need to add to your portfolio of skills. And I recommend our accounting concentration to you. But only if you're willing to work, okay? If you don't want to work, find another concentration, okay? Because accountants always have to work their butts off, okay? Because it's not easy. You have to learn a new language. You have to learn a new grammar. And add on top of that the stuff you do in all of your other classes as well. But if you're willing to do that, you have a lot of exciting opportunities that can be offered to you through this concentration. And the MAC folks, you're already on target, so I don't need to say anything more to you guys, right? Okay, so thank you. I hope that was helpful.
So if you did not complete your BBA degree here at Anderson, you'll all be taking Management 502, which is financial accounting, and that is a prerequisite for Management 526, financial management. So just keep that in mind as you plan your coursework. Nicole Capehart, who we introduced earlier, is here to help you plan your coursework. So Nicole helps more plan your core courses, and then the faculty advisor can help you devise a plan to pursue your concentration. So the next faculty member I'd like to invite forward is Dr. Shelley Arthur, and she's going to speak about organizational behavior and human resources.
Hello, welcome to Anderson. Welcome back to a few of you familiar faces. I'm Shelley Arthur. I teach negotiations in the Human Resources Department of Organizational Studies, which houses the Human Resource Management Organizational Behavior concentration. We have a great faculty. They take teaching very seriously, and they focus a lot on experiential learning, so really hands-on in the classroom. So human resources is essentially focused on gaining the skills to manage people, to foster success in organizations. And let me start by saying being a people person isn't enough to make you a good human resource manager, because you have to learn how to manage people, and there are a lot of skills that you would learn with the organizational behavior human resource management concentration. So things like attracting employees to organizations, developing the employees, training them, motivating them, retaining them, coming up with compensation plans, and even making strategic business decisions. So jobs in human resources are predicted to increase by 22% by 2018. And they can be pretty different in the scope of the job. So you could end up in a small organization where you wear a lot of different hats and you might do a little bit of everything. Or you could end up in a large organization where you're kind of an HR specialist, where you might just focus on developing employees or compensation schemes. So let me tell you a little bit about the courses so that you can get a sense of what courses you might be interested in if this is the concentration for you. So everybody takes 506 in the core, which is organizational behavior and diversity, which draws upon behavioral science theory and research to understand, manage, and change organizations. Some of the courses you might take are labor relations, which is kind of management and union relations, training and development, which is pretty self-explanatory, comp and benefits, so learning how to design plans, organizational behavior, cross-cultural organizational behavior, where you compare organizations across countries, interpersonal and team dynamics, so communications, team building, human resource theory, which is essentially the nuts and bolts of human resources, diversity in human relations, so again, looking at emphasizing behavior, diversity in behaviors. Women in management, focus on women managers. Creative leadership, so looking at different leadership styles. And then last but definitely not least, because this is the course I teach, is negotiation strategies, which is conflict management. So if those courses sound interesting to you, then I encourage you to take a look at our concentration. Thank you.
So So next up, we have Dr. Harry Van Buren. He is one of the faculty advisors for the Policy and Planning concentration, which is available only to graduate students here at Anderson.
It's nice to get applause when I haven't even said anything. So you can decide at the very end if anything I said is worthy of applause. Like Shelley, I am from the Department of Organizational Studies, and so I'm here to talk about the policy and planning concentration. The main point that I would want to make about policy and planning is that we really focus on cross-functional problem solving. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand either the organization in its external context, and I'll talk about this in the context of things like government regulation and the social control of business, or in terms of solving big cross-functional problems that really relate to the strategy and the direction of the organization. We have three tracks within the policy and planning concentration. The first track is called Strategic Planning and Leadership Emphasis. And so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to build on skills in courses that you would learn, in courses beyond strategic management, to really understand where the organization is right now, how it needs to align its resources in the future to get where it wants to go, and then how to actually align everything in the organization in order to get there. So courses there in this concentration that are required include things like competitive analysis, placing the organization in its particular context, creative leadership, and the course that I teach, which is managerial ethics. That particular course focuses on ethics and compliance in organizations, which is very different to the course that we offer at the undergraduate level. You might be really interested in public policy. One of the things that's really important from a business standpoint is that the institution of government plays a very, very significant role in either creating constraints on businesses or generating opportunities. So the public affairs and policy analysis emphasis really speaks to that particular set of issues. One of the required courses is regulations in the social control of business. This builds on work in industrial and organizational economics, but then other areas where we really try to understand how does regulation unfold, how does it affect business, and then how can businesses try to shape the external environment in a way that makes sense for them. There's a public affairs and public relations course, so very clearly you get the sense that this is about how you understand the organization in its external context. An interesting part of this concentration is that there's a required Washington campus program. UNM in the Anderson School is one of the few schools around the United States that has access to the Washington campus program. And so you go for a week to Washington, D.C., and you meet with public policymakers and folks involved in lobbying, and it gives you a much better sense of how public policy actually unfolds than you had before, and I've known many students who have taken this course and really gotten a lot out of it. Now the third element is nonprofits. We are the Anderson School of Management, and I always hasten to tell people, particularly my oldest daughter, who's 16 years old, and like a lot of 16-year-olds is very idealistic, so she's listed herself as a socialist on her Facebook page, and no matter how much I try to explain to her that no, business can be a really good thing, she's always trying to push back on me. But we're a management school. We obviously teach lots and lots of business courses and business tracks, but nonprofits are organizations and they need to be managed too. So the same things related to alignment of resources that we would think are important in the for-profit world really matter in the not-for-profit world. However, not-for-profits have different stakeholder sets, different constraints, have to position themselves differently. And so the courses in this particular track speak to that particular issue in terms of how you manage nonprofits more effectively than is often the case. So those are the three tracks, and the key elements to note here is that these tracks are really focused on cross-functional issues and big problems facing organizations and understanding the organization in its context. There are two advisors. There's me, and I handle the back half of the alphabet. Sean Berman handles the front half of the alphabet. So if you're interested in this particular concentration, I'd encourage you to think about what is it that I would like to do with this concentration. We strongly encourage you then to visit either with Sean or me, and then to talk about what constellation of courses actually make sense in order to help you accomplish your professional goals. Thanks.
have noticed that our faculty are extremely passionate about each of their areas, and they also do a lot of interesting research. So we encourage you to get involved, get to know your faculty concentration advisor, ask them about their research because it might be an area of interest to you. So the next person I'd like to introduce is Dr. Catherine Roster. She's going to speak about the marketing concentration and the operations concentration.
Welcome, everyone. Help wanted. Outgoing, creative, self-starter with strong organizational, problem-solving, computer, analytical, statistical, and communication skills. If that notice fits you, apply today for a marketing concentration. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, marketing is the single largest employment category in the United States, and it's only expected to continue to accelerate. There are many different exciting career paths in marketing. So if you're left brain, which means that you're sort of into details and analysis and statistics and all of that, some careers that you might be well suited for would include marketing research, a product manager, operations manager, a merchandise buyer, logistics manager, or in operations. On the other hand, if you are right brain, more of the intuitive, creative, touchy-feely, good people skills, then you might be well suited for a career in sales, advertising, sales promotions management, customer service, or a media buyer or analyst. But of course, in marketing, as in many things, it's often good to be whole-brained because many of these jobs have a lot of overlap. So the marketing area is one that really, while there are certain niches that tend to be dominated by one or the other sort of personality traits and skills, really it's really necessary to have all of them. And I can't emphasize enough that one of the really critical skills in marketing is communication skills, both oral and verbal, because you need to, both oral and written, because you need to be able to, no matter what you're doing in marketing, you're going to be reporting to others or preparing reports, and these need to be very professionally done. And of course, many of them, especially in the area of public relations, are going to be viewed by large members of the public. There are courses in the other concentrations, 15 hours of coursework. 522 is the core class, and it is the prerequisite for all of the graduate marketing courses. We have 2 required courses if you're a non-Anderson student or non-BBA Anderson student coming in. The 2 required courses in the concentration are 581, which is Research for Marketing Management, which I teach, and Marketing Strategy, which is 582. And then in addition to that, you need to take 3 other elective courses from a set of electives that we have, which include classes such as Marketing and Society, International Marketing, Strategic Logistics Management, Services Operations Management, are just a few of the electives that we have. One of the things that I'd like to emphasize for you today to help you with your scheduling is to understand that our courses are only offered once a year. So please plan your schedules accordingly. So if you're not able to get in a course, it's not going to come around again until the following year. So right now, if you're starting, you should be focusing on getting 522 under your belt as quickly as possible. The 581 Research for Marketing Management class I teach every spring. The strategy class is taught in the fall, and for each of the electives alternatively, some are in the spring and some are offered routinely every fall. So you'll see them one or the other, but never twice. You'll never see the classes twice in a row. And last, I'd like to talk a little bit about the operations. Operations and marketing are very akin. We share, logistics is actually one of the 4 P's, place, in marketing, about how to move goods from here to there. Some marketers and logistics or operations people work very closely in the distribution and production of goods. We have a dual concentration program with operations that you might want to consider. A lot of our students like to do this for only 6 hours or 2 classes beyond the marketing. Many of the classes are shared with operations, so if you take 2 additional operations classes or 6 hours, you can leave Anderson with a dual concentration degree in marketing and operations management, and that really is a very nice marriage and should set you up for a full scope of careers in marketing and in operations. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the best of luck this semester and in your studies.
All right, so next up we have Dr. Stephen Bird here to talk about the Management Information Systems concentration.
I actually have 2 concentrations to talk about today, MIS and Information Assurance, but I'll start with Information Systems since that's what she listed first. Information Systems, as you probably well know, is very much concerned with computing and with software. That would put us clearly in the left brain side of category. Not to say there's no creative work involved in computing, there's plenty of it, but it's very much an analytical type of concentration. The sorts of jobs that you would be preparing for, or careers that you would be preparing for if you took this concentration, applications development, software deployment, user training, that would kind of be one side of the concentration. Contrary to popular myth, all of the application development jobs have not been sent to fill in the blank India, China, Malaysia, wherever. There is certainly a lot of outsourcing of raw programming jobs, but there are an awful lot of them still left in the U.S. And it is a growth area. Virtually every category of computing job, particularly at the upper managerial ranks, is in the Bureau of Labor Statistics view, at least for the next decade, a job where the number of positions will be growing faster than average for the economy. The other category of careers that the MIS concentration would prepare you for would be system and network administration. Most organizations, despite the fact that there's cloud computing and a lot of outsourced applications, still have a fairly significant internal infrastructure. Clearly, every organization is running a network. There's a mix of external and internal applications. There's, of course, all the hardware that sits behind that. There's underlying security systems, and there's the people that need to be managed with that, users that need to be trained. And so the system and network administration is really a very, very much a growing piece of the pie in information systems. I would say at this point, probably it's maybe a half-half, 60-40 split, with roughly 60% of the MIS graduates going out into some sort of a system or network administration position, and the rest going into some sort of application development. Also, for folks in other concentrations, particularly marketing and accounting, a few of the classes inside the concentration may be of interest even if you don't want to do a dual concentration. In particular, the database class and the data mining class have very wide application inside marketing, and then the systems analysis and design class and the database class also have some application inside accounting, particularly if you're going into the area of auditing, both either internal or external, since virtually every accounting system these days, except for the very smallest, is likely to be on a computer and need to be audited as a technology-oriented system. The information assurance concentration. This one is difficult to guess what it means from just the name, and that's partly because there's actually several different avenues to pursue underneath of it. We don't have formal tracks per se, but you can more or less think of information assurance as having both a technology or a computer side and an accounting side. I would say the majority of the students in our concentration are going down the technology side, but there are a significant number who are combining this with accounting or using this purely as an accounting accounting-oriented concentration, either as part of the MBA or as part of the MAC program. In the case of the MAC, I guess it's a track, not a concentration. Information assurance on the technology side is primarily an issue of computer and network security. And this is more of, just think of this as an extension of the system and network administrator's role, but with a specialization in security. So issues such as security policy, issues such as firewalls, issues such as network design, protecting software, protecting databases from intrusion, managing data assets. These are all in the realm of information assurance. UNM as a whole and the Anderson School of Management in particular are a member of a relatively small club. There's about 100 organizations that are certified by the NSA and the Department of Homeland Security as centers of academic excellence in information assurance. The vast majority of that 100 or so are schools of engineering or computer science. UNM is one of the handful of business schools that falls into this classification. And it's because we have a fairly unique program here in terms of its combination of both the technical, the people-oriented, and the accounting side. So on to the accounting side. Why would accountants care about information assurance? Well, in most audits today, the scope of the audit has expanded considerably. 20 years ago, you went out and did an audit. It was simply a matter of verifying the accuracy of financial statements, and basically you were just recomputing numbers and making sure that they were correctly presented. Auditing standards today embody the entire organization's accounting and internal control systems, and the security piece of that is very much of concern when you're doing an audit. So either just a general purpose audit as might be done, or a financial statement audit as might be done by an external accounting firm, or an internal audit, IT auditing, what have you. All of these have technological components, evaluations of the adequacy of internal controls, and the evaluation of security, or lack thereof, of data and applications, and consistent application of security policies and procedures. These are all things that auditors need to evaluate in the process of doing their work, and that accounts for part of the accounting side. There's a third piece of it that really kind of crosses over between the accounting and the technology side, and that's investigations, or forensics, if you like. And forensics can be looked at both in purely a technological sense, as in, you know, somebody's been arrested and they're suspected of white-collar crime, and you know, they've got an encrypted hard drive on their laptop, and how is it you're going to determine if there's any data in there that can be used as evidence against them? We actually have a lab that's on campus. It's down on the South Campus, the FBI's Regional Computer Forensics Lab, which is a partner with UNM's Center for Information Assurance. And as you can imagine, that's a pretty busy place. Law enforcement spends a lot of time trying to gather evidence from cell phones, from disk drives, from network intercepts, from what have you. It's a brave new world. It's no longer just wiretaps on a landline. And so that's a fairly big piece of what we do as well. The bleeding back towards the accounting side, when you're doing, in particular, a white-collar crime investigation, there are accounting issues to be had. Are there manipulations of financial data involved? Are there violations of internal control? Is there attempts to hide or misstate? And those forensic investigations happen in lots of different places, primarily in law enforcement agencies, but in a wide variety of those agencies. So you could be working for the State Taxation and Revenue Department, you could be working for the IRS, you could be working for an attorney general or a district attorney in some state or local or locality. The labs and federal agencies such as NSA, the CIA, as well as the finance, these all employ large numbers of people who have these skills. So IA is a rather complex area, and figuring out what piece of it you might want to maneuver within is not always a straightforward task. And so I'd like to echo one of the pieces of advice that was given earlier, and that is, if you're considering any concentration, but the two I've covered in particular, it's very important to meet with an advisor as early as possible. Talk about your specific career goals, talk about your background, and from that we can more or less customize an approach to crafting a set of courses that will actually get you where you want to be. We don't have, in either concentration, any required courses per se. There are some prerequisite chains, so there are courses that most students wind up taking, but largely it's customized to the individual student. So it's very important to talk with an advisor as soon as possible to make sure you're taking the right classes at the right time. Most of our classes also are offered online. Some people would consider that an advantage, some a disadvantage, but that does give you some flexibility in terms of scheduling and working around work hours and those sorts of things. For advisement, I used to be the advisor for both concentrations, and if you wander by my office and I'm there, you might actually get me to talk to you about it, but nowadays I'm more likely to send you off to one of two other faculty members. The faculty advisor for students for management information systems, both undergraduate and graduate, is Professor Nick Floor. And the graduate advisor for information assurance on the technical side is Alex Sayatsu, and on the accounting side is Rich Brody. So if you are interested in any of those concentrations, set up an appointment with one of those three folks as soon as possible, or multiple of those three folks, and talk it over with them. Thanks.
All right, and last but certainly not least is Leslie Bonai. She is the Department Chair for Finance, International Management, Management of Technology, and Entrepreneurship.
Well, hi. It's great to be last because now I can say, so if nothing you've heard has just wowed you and excited you so much, hopefully I can give you 4 choices. I'm the department chair of a group we call FIGHT. And that sounds terrible. Sounds like we just fight all the time. And that's true. But the other thing is it's actually FITE. Seriously, that's what it stands for. Finance, International Management, the Management of Technology, that's the T, and then Entrepreneurship, that's the E. And so we can't spell, but we have really interesting concentrations. I'm going to tell you about each of those. Now, my background is finance, and I still teach some of the finance courses, and I see some familiar faces, and I'm just so excited to see all of you, and in particular, some of those people that I see as familiar faces. Great to see you back in the MBA program. Let me tell you about the 3 typical finance concentrations that we have our MBAs go through, and the kinds of jobs that really differentiate and help people choose if they're interested in finance. The first is what we would consider the more traditional that you might think of as finance, and that's someone who might want to go into a corporate finance job. In fact, maybe you've come back to get an MBA and your goal is to be the chief financial officer of a corporation. You want to work for a big company. Let me encourage you, if you don't already know this, most of the larger corporations, they may say in their title chief financial officer, but many of those people are accountants also, or maybe came up as accountants, but they certainly often supervise the accounting area. So if that's your dream, we encourage you to be a finance person, but also strongly consider doing a dual major in accounting as well. Now, 2 other areas in finance that we have as concentrations are banking, and the other is investment management. As far as the banking concentration goes, a lot of our folks go into that area. We have really close ties with the New Mexico Bankers Association, and so that many of the students in the program have internships while they're here that we line up, sometimes through the New Mexico Bankers Association or with the banks directly. We have a good network because a number of our students have gone to banks and they want to hire more people from Anderson. In fact, our banking courses, our main banking courses, are taught by people who are working in the banking community. So if you're interested in banking, that's a good option. You need to do that through finance. And then the third of the finance areas, and this is the one I teach primarily in, is investment management. And if you're not familiar with it, and although many schools in the country manage real money, we're proud to claim that we believe we may manage as much money or more outside money as anyone, any school. We manage $2 million of the Regents money, the University Regents money, in an all-equity portfolio. So we have a 4-course sequence if you want to focus on investment management, where you take courses where you're managing equities, fixed incomes, asset allocation, and of course there's the initial foundation course. I said $7 million, $2 million is for the Regents, then we manage $5 million in a multi-asset portfolio for the state of New Mexico. So that's split among stocks and bonds. We have 3 meetings each semester. The students, managers present their recommendations to an outside group of 9 investment managers from around the state, and then make recommendations, and then the trades are made. So if you're excited about something like that, if that sounds interesting to you, here's what you got to do. You've got to take the Finance Core Concentration course, which is a prerequisite for each of these courses. Take it as soon as possible. Don't put it off till the end. If you think you might be interested in finance, take that 526 Core Finance course as fast as you can so you have enough time in your schedule to fit in these other finance courses. The other 3 areas, the international management is the next one. Now, the reason I'm here instead of the international management team from our faculty is they're off at exciting places right now. One is just coming back from Russia. One is currently in Brazil. Another one is in Mexico, and another one is teaching in the Executive MBA program today. Now, if you're interested in international management, you better want to travel. These faculty are going to try to get you any which way out there to other countries to help consult for businesses in other countries. And it's an exciting program. In fact, one of the faculty, Manuel Montoya, in the last 18 months since he's joined us, has started a very exciting organization called International Business Students Global. We'll get you more information if you're interested in the details of that. He has a real nice website that explains what students are doing internationally, consulting in businesses. Some of them are in microfinance. Recent places that he's taken students include, well, his students have gone to Kenya, they're going to Brazil in September, and working with businesses to consult. The next area, management of technology. So management of technology was what really came about in the last 15 years, a pull from the community, a need for people who could go in and really help the labs. Sandia and Los Alamos in particular, they gave us some national grant money, or our faculty went out and partnered with them, so that it's, again, consulting with people who want to take high-tech ideas and start companies, or have already started companies or are looking for some assistance. So if you're a management of technology focus person, if that's your concentration, you'll be working one-on-one with faculty in small teams, specifically assigned to these projects to help consult with companies. And as a result, then some of the folks go on and continue and find jobs through those developments. And then the last group, but not least, is entrepreneurship. And that's all about, if you want to start your own business, build your own business, or help develop the tools to do so, then we have the entrepreneurship focus. We have 2 very exciting business competitions that will get started right away, and it's not too soon if you're interested. One comes out of the Management of Technology group. So that's called the Technology Business Launch Competition, where you and a group of people would put together your plan and compete for the $10,000. The prize money may get higher this time. There's usually a first, second, and third prize with your group to be judged sometime in April, although there's a series of seminars along the way. If you're thinking of starting your own business, it involves high tech. Sometimes these groups reach out and partner with folks in the engineering school as well. And then there's even a separate entrepreneurship challenge, we call it, which is another competition that will get started quite soon. You might not have a high-tech idea, but really any idea, non-tech related, that you'd like to get started and compete for prize money with your idea, building a business plan for your entrepreneurial program. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll point you toward the other faculty if I'm not the right area for you. I'm easy to find. If you just go online and look for the FIGHT, that's easy to remember, department chair, and email me. I'd be happy to talk to any of you. Just let me know. We'll set up a time. Thanks for letting me talk. Bye-bye.
So the faculty here at Anderson are some of your biggest champions, and we want you really to excel in the classroom and then excel when you graduate. So here to talk about how to work on your career after you graduate is Kate Williams, and she is the Career Development Facilitator here at Anderson.
Thanks, guys. Okay, first things first. I don't know about you guys, I'm in dire need of a 7th inning stretch. So everybody up out of those seats just for a second. Arms up in the air. Okay, get some oxygen. I was going to make you do jumping jacks, so just count yourselves lucky. Okay, everybody got a little blood flow, stamp those feet. Okay, sitting back down. You don't really have to do jumping jacks or anything like that. Okay, thank you so much for that great welcome, and I just want to echo, what Megan said. Really, I mean, our faculty are one of the major reasons that your MBA here at Anderson is going to be so meaningful They are your champions, they are your advocates, they are your network, they're your links. So please, please use them. Okay, so what I'm here to talk to you guys about today, and I know we're running a little bit over, so I'm going to try and keep my remarks concise, which is not my nature, but I'm going to do my best. I am a representative from the Career Services Office. So we have a team here at Anderson. Part of our accreditation is that we must maintain a dedicated career services staff. And so myself and Natalie Mead, our Career Services Manager, who you heard from at the beginning, are here to do just that and to help launch you into your professional career. Now what I want to talk to you today, so if you open up those great folders that you have and just grab this guy, I forgot I'm supposed to stay right in this one spot because I'm not mic'd. Grab your little brand new trifold here, and we're going to talk about that. Okay. So brand new for MBAs. What's it about? What does it mean? Why do you care? Okay. So your reasons for attending Anderson School for your MBA are likely really diverse. I imagine a lot of you are probably working professionals. Some of you are at a different point in your career. But all of you today, just by entering into your MBA program, by choosing it here at Anderson, you've already made a huge commitment to yourself and to your career, whatever that looks like for you, whether you're looking to advance within your company where you are right now, or maybe some of you are about to embark in the exhilarating but also a little bit terrifying world of career transition. We are here to start where you are. Whatever that means for your professional path, we have no preconceived notions when you come to our office. What we are about is preparing you professionally to launch whatever that means for your professional preparation. And so what is brand you? It's a lot of things. Primarily, it's a call to action. It's a commitment that you make to career services, but more importantly, to yourself. Okay? Probably that's, for a lot of you, that's what an MBA means, that advanced degree, that commitment that you've made to yourself. It's a commitment to self-exploration and assessment. This is a piece of career development that I think a lot of us take for granted, that we haven't actually taken the time to sit down and think, what makes me great? What differentiates me from all of the other people who will be competing for a job or who hope to advance within a company? What is my unique constellation of skills and talents? What am I bringing, and what is my contribution? That's one of the things that our office is going to challenge you to think about and that we're here to help with. It's a commitment that you'll link your academic studies to your professional development, to make the world your classroom and find mentors along the way. That's one of the things that our office is really uniquely positioned to make happen for you. When I say make the world your classroom, I'm talking about internships. I'm talking about job shadowing. I'm talking about looking to one another, to use one another as resources. Many of you are working. You can expand your network just by making an introduction today. Okay? I really want to challenge you to marry those concepts together. Our academic advising and career services offices are located in the same place for a reason. We're under the same fantastic leadership for a reason. Those two concepts are so interrelated that it's just intuitive to continue to combine them. I want to challenge everyone to think, whenever you're in a class, how is this preparing me for my professional life? I promise you, our tremendous faculty are all committed to doing that. When you're working on a project, be thinking about how you can include that on your resume. And of course, if you're feeling a little bit lost, not sure how to do that, that's where we come in, okay? Please always be thinking about how to partner with our office. It's a commitment to engage thoughtfully and thoroughly with your professional network. One of my students' top favorite things to tell me when they come in and sit into my office and we talk about networking, and I either get the deer in the headlights look or the, oh yes, kind of the little bit of what I like to call the crazy eyes, which is what I get when I get excited. So it's typically one of those two responses. But another thing I often hear is, well, I don't have a network, I don't know anyone. Okay, so just by virtue of being in this room, as I said before, I don't want to hear anyone who's sitting in my office complain about not having a network. You are now one another's network. Look around. I know it's dorky. Look around. Look at the faces. Really do it. I'm watching you. This is your network. Okay, this is your cohort. This is your team. We are also on your team, as are your professors, as are the student organizations that I'm going to encourage you guys to get in touch with. So if I hear anyone in my office saying they don't have a network, I'm going to say, I saw you at orientation. I know that's not true. Okay, and finally, Brand you is your unique skills, abilities, talents, and values that combined with your MBA will make you a competitive candidate who is hireable, retainable, promotable. So truly, whatever your goals are, our office is uniquely situated to meet those goals. Okay, and over the next 2 years, we want to challenge you all to partner with us for all of these aspects of your career development. Today, this entire day, entire afternoon, is devoted to challenging you. You know, the marshmallow exercise that we did was kind of getting you out of your comfort zone, okay? For some of you introverts, it was maybe a little bit scary. When you heard from the faculty, maybe we're challenging you to think about taking a different class, to kind of expand those horizons. And listening to me talk, hopefully today, my goal is to inspire you, to light a little bit of a spark, whether it's to reignite your passion and your commitment to your career, or whether we're about to embark on an exciting transition for you. I want to light that spark, okay? That's my job as a facilitator. Okay, and so if you open up, turning into our, for some of the people who are a little bit more granular, maybe that's one of your skills and you're thinking, okay, Kate, this is really a lot high level. Let's talk about some concrete ways that we're positioned to help you with this. So if you take a look up at the top, you'll see these great green buttons. Green means go, which is what we're doing with your professional career. And I want to talk about all of these little buttons in turn, and you can see that at the end, so we're all very goal-oriented here, of course, at the business school, is launch. Now, maybe you're thinking, I already have a job. Is that button really appropriate for me? Absolutely, okay? No matter where you are or what your goals are, once you graduate with your MBA, you'll be launching in a different trajectory than where you were, with a new set of skills and new things that you'll be bringing to the work environment. Okay. So starting off with learning, of course, it's a great segue with the wonderful faculty that we just heard from. So that means academics. It also means that piece of self-assessment and exploration. This means taking Myers-Briggs assessments, doing some research in your field, talking with and partnering with faculty to really find out what is it about me that's going to make me successful in this field. What is my field all about? Taking those classes and really engaging in a thoughtful process as far as that's concerned. Lots of learning that happens, of course, you're at a university. Okay, the connect button, really, really important. Hopefully you're not sick of hearing me talk about the importance of networking. It's a common theme you're going to hear again. This is all about building and cultivating relationships for professional success. It's not enough just to make the introduction. What are you doing to take care of that relationship? How are you going to use those relationships in a strategic manner to help you reach your goals? Okay, it's all about building. This is also talking about, we're going to hear today from some fantastic members of the Alumni Association Council. This is about going outside of your comfort zone and doing the hard work of, well, it's not actually that hard because they all really want to partner with you, I promise. Making a connection with an alumni mentor, somebody who's already been in your shoes, who's already graduated from Anderson, can share with you their experiences, can share with you some of their career progression. Talking to members of the foundation board of Anderson who are so committed to student success and are comprised of C-level executives from around Albuquerque and the surrounding areas. These are wonderful folks to know, okay, and they are in your corner. Anderson alumni, professors, and professionals in the field. We also have a large contingent of professional faculty here at Anderson who are working in the fields in which you might ultimately hope to pursue a career. Partner with them, talk to them, go pick up the phone, send an email, but connect, engage in a thoughtful and strategic way, okay? I know Leslie Bonai mentioned International Business Students Global. That's just one example, and of course AGBS, who is partnering with us today. All of you are automatically members. How easy is that? Fantastic. But all of you, please, that's another great way to connect and get involved. Okay. Experience. So some of you, again, may already be working in the fields in which you hope to work for the next 40 years. That's fantastic. For those of you who are transitioning or hope to get to a higher level, even within your own company, an internship can be invaluable experience. A lot of the guest speakers that we're bringing in today can really speak to the value of that. And personally, you know, our staff has, and myself included, have all completed internships, and we're happy to share our experience with you. All it takes is the first question from you, just to make that first step and that initial approach with us. Find a job in your industry, okay? A lot of local employers are able to work around academic schedules. We are here to partner with you to help you and empower you to find those opportunities. Even something as simple as a job shadow can be for one day, can be for 1 year. Finding a professional who you'd like to walk in their shoes for a day. This is not as scary as it sounds. A lot of professionals really love to be asked for expertise. It's a very flattering request, and if you engage with it thoughtfully again, and we're happy to provide that coaching, it can really provide some invaluable insight. Okay. Finally, branding. This is where we get to our brand you part, okay? Crafting your professional materials. So I'm probably one of very few people who actually gets very excited about resume development, but it's really true. Your professional materials are one of the top ways that you will be communicating your brand and your value to an employer. And having been a recruiter for 2 years of my professional life, I do bring a unique perspective when I review your materials and help craft your approach. Natalie, the career services manager, and I are in constant contact with members of the business community. So when we give you advice and counsel, it's because local employers have told us these are the things that they want. These are the things that are important. We also bring a wealth of industry knowledge from partnering with the faculty and with professionals to really work with you about what matters in your field. Okay, it's not just about your skills and your talents, but how well does that align with marketing, with finance, with information technologies? Knowing how you will be able to communicate your value and demonstrate that to a prospective employer will be something that will differentiate you almost immediately, okay? And that's going to be a focus of every session that you spend with me. Finally, launch in our cherry Lobo red, okay? Whatever the word launch means to you, that is our ultimate goal. Your success, your job is our job, okay? And we're committed to all of you. Now, if you take a look inside, you can see some of the fantastic Career Week offerings that we're going to have for you. Starting with a lot of MBA differentiated content. We know that a lot of you have different professional development needs than our undergraduates, and so we want to make sure that our programming is really relevant to you. So as you go through, you'll see a resume gallery, which is where we're going to facilitate peer review of resumes, and it's going to be facilitated by myself and some other members of the staff. So you'll really be getting some excellent coaching, and you'll be able to see just how short a resume review really is out there in the employment world. We'll also be hosting a number of career fair networking events. We want to make sure that absolutely everyone is ready and prepared to walk into the career fair, which is September 13th. Okay, so I will not mind if you guys take out your phones and plug that in, text it to yourself, whatever you're using to keep yourself organized. Highlighters, sticky notes, I don't know, pigeons, doves, whatever you want to use to send a message to yourself. September 13th. And as if the professional development that you're going to get at these great events is not enough incentive, and I know it already is. But if you turn to this page, you can see that if you attend 2 of our professional preparation workshops and then attend the career fair, you're entered into a drawing to win an iPad. Okay, so you can use that to take notes, and it should be really, really exciting. And we do all of this, and this is just a sampling of our fall offerings. We will be delivering content throughout the year. And in the spirit of that, the last event that I want to talk about, which I believe is also in your folders, is the MBA Professional Development Boot Camp. Again, an example of how we've differentiated instruction just for the needs of MBAs. This is going to be a half day of rigorous professional development, but I promise it's not just me talking the entire time. We're going to bring in guest speakers, student organizations, professionals, to really work on the things that matter to you. For example, do you have a LinkedIn profile, but you created it 2 years ago because someone in your contact list invited you, but you have no idea how to use it in your job search? We're going to cover that. Have you not looked at your resume for the past 5 years since you got your first professional job? We're going to talk about how to enhance it, okay? This is content that is specifically targeted to MBAs. And I really want to encourage all of you to come to this, to sign up. We're really going to be sending out a lot of information. I know Nicole mentioned earlier in the program about getting connected with us on social media. That's also critically important and part of the connection piece up here on your little trajectory. We are also on Facebook. We're also on LinkedIn. Please connect, and I'm sometimes a contributor on the podcast on subjects relating to professionalism. So please connect with us today, okay? And so the last thing that I want to leave you with, and thank you so much for bearing with me, is that it's time to take charge of your career. You've made a commitment. Come in and see us today. Thank you.
And now I'd like to give a warm welcome to our Dean, Doug Brown. He is going to talk a little bit about Anderson and then answer any questions that you might have.
By the way, this is the Brown Memorial bumper. Having opened yet another hole on my head one time on the way out of here. These were sharp objects. Thank you so much for your being here. You're what make our lives meaningful. And we hope so much to add value to yours, the kind of commitments that you're making. I mean, I know you've got jobs, you've got families, you've got all kinds of things going on in your life. It's a financial sacrifice. It's a sacrifice of time. We know that. We appreciate that. And we're just determined to make sure you get more than what you expected out of this experience. I think you've got some idea from the sometimes overly caffeinated Career Services and Advisement Center. They are terrific. Please get engaged with them early, and you'll find the more value. And there's such things as internships. And Natalie, have you already talked about that? That's just a wonderful opportunity to learn on the job, even though most of you are working now. To get a job in the heart of your professional trajectory makes all the difference, and it's important to notice those internship opportunities that come along and grab hold of one. Those kind of projects are the best kind of exposure to companies that you may want to work for someday. I think the Anderson School is in a really good place, and the whole university right now in a pretty good place. We've got a new president that we really like. He's really listening to what's going on. I think he's got a good positive spirit, a lot of energy. He's connecting into the community. I think that's going well. After 3 years of declining funding from the state, suddenly we popped back up 7.5%. And that's just allowing us to do all kinds of things, like 6 new faculty at Anderson who you'll be meeting and engaging with. This is a good time for the school. I do hope you get a chance also. How many of you did not go to undergraduate UNM, went to some other school? That's good, good, good. Now that's good in a sense that I think you're going to enrich the experience of everybody else from your perspectives in class discussion and in group work and so on. But I also strongly encourage you to find some way to escape Anderson and see some other parts of this university. There are amazing things going on. For example, the world's greatest printmaking operation is right here on Central Boulevard, a department of UNM, the Tamarind Institute it's called. There's a 75,000-acre nature preserve just south of Socorro that's run by UNM, where the hantavirus strain was first isolated. It was just a breakthrough contribution to world health by doing that. Hantavirus is a real plague in parts of rural China, for example. There's just wonderful things going on. And of course, we need you to get out and root for the Lobos. They need it. And but there's and the sports integrate very well here. Some Some schools, sports, they've got them off in an athletic dormitory and they sort of slip red meat under the door once in a while. Here, the student athletes really are student athletes. In fact, they graduate at a slightly higher rate than the general student body. We're only one of 4 Division I NC2A schools that can boast that. And that's a credit to the way Paul Krebs and his group is run. So there's just a richness to this whole university landscape that I hope you get a chance to enjoy. But let me come up for air for a second and answer any questions you may have. I come from a business background, and I got affiliated with the university through lecturing once in a while, and then I served as a regent before suddenly someone said, hey, why don't you throw your hat in the ring to be dean, and just start my 4th year, and I'm enjoying it. This is a great, and I just can't tell you, the passion of the faculty and their dedication to your success is just uncommon, and it's matched by the staff's commitment. So, well, let me come up and ask you for any questions or comments or observations that you may have. Anybody? Yes, sir.
I'm kind of an early starter, and I have been aching to see any of the class materials put onto WebCT before the first day of class. Does that not happen?
I will have to defer to somebody who knows the answer to that. Do you? On Monday.
From my undergraduate experience, it's always the first day, and it's always been kind of frustrating.
Okay.
I'm trying to collaborate now. We'll have 3 online classes and trying to collaborate with classmates to do study groups and stuff. But yet, I can do the art on the first day.
Okay.
Setting schedule and stuff is a little hard.
We can change that. Okay. Thank you. That's not going to benefit you, but it will starting next semester. We'll change that. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Any other comments, suggestions? Yes, questions? Yes, sir.
Do you think Anderson will ever develop a PhD program?
Yes. We're in early stages right now of a management of technology program, and very timely. We're going to be doing it in collaboration with engineering school, and there's a strong interest in Brazil to partner with this university on the development of a PhD program. Brazil is just a wonderful economic success story. It's lifting off. All the metrics are growing at about 7 or 8% a year, and they are up to number 9, I think, in the world in manufacturing output, but they're number 46 only in innovation. And they realize that there's sort of a top-down, state-dominated system for their higher education. And how does the U.S. develop all these companies and the innovation and the venture capital community? And they think they need help there, and they really do. We've got excellent Brazilian connections. We have a couple of Brazilian professors among our faculty, and we're going to be collaborating with them and developing a PhD program joint with them, and we're also establishing strong Chinese connections. I made 2 trips to China last year with one of our professors, establishing linkages with various Chinese universities, and we'll be doing more with them, and that will feed into the PhD program as well. But we will be doing that. I'll probably be maybe 2 years before it gets all the way through the process and the funding and the faculty, and it has to be blessed by the higher education department at the state level too. So early stages of that. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you. Welcome aboard, and I'll be joining up with you again over there at the 5 o'clock hour. Thank you.
What we're going to be doing is spending the next 15 minutes getting some really great perspectives from some recent alums, recent MBA alums who were so gracious as to take time out of their busy work days to come and speak with us. So first, I'd like to introduce Ms. Emily Ortiz. She's right there in the stripes. Emily is a human resources specialist with the U.S. Forest Service here in town. She's been recognized as a strong leader who has developed and mentored individuals within the New Mexico community. She is a double alum from Anderson. She has a bachelor's and master's in human resources and organizational behavior. And she was extremely involved in student organizations while she was here in Anderson, and that's definitely going to be a topic of today. So that's going to be a running theme, trying to encourage you guys to connect. And some of the things that she was involved with is the Society of Human Resource Management, co-chair committee member of the Hispanic Heritage Month Special Emphasis Programs with the Forest Service, and is currently the president for the National Society of Hispanic MBAs. So welcome, Emily. There we go. All right. And next I'd like to introduce Miss Mercy Berman, who's over here in the blue. And she is a senior member of technical business development staff at Sandia National Laboratories. She graduated first in her class from Anderson's MBA program last fall, and her concentration was in policy and planning. So if you remember, she worked closely with Harry Van Buren, who spoke with you. She also holds a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, summa cum laude, and an honors distinction in International Studies, also from the University of New Mexico, so we have lots of strong ties. During her time in the MBA program, Mercy was everywhere. She was very involved in the Anderson community, in addition to completing internships with the New Mexico Economic Development Department's Middle East office and Sandia National Laboratories, and served as a consultant for several local nonprofits. Here on campus, the organizations she was involved in included Net Impact, GPSA, charter member of International Business Students Global, AGBS, and she held a graduate assistantship and a project assistantship. So when I say she was everywhere, she truly was. So please, everybody, help me welcome Mercy Berman. Okay. And so I have two kind of guiding questions, and then I'm going to open it up to the floor. I'm sorry this isn't really conducive to a lot of discussion. Okay, and so the first question, and either Mercy, I'm just going to start with you. Why is being involved in a student club linked to your success here at Anderson?
Okay.
I know, right? You have to pivot here.
So there's a couple things about, so I was really involved with 2 student organizations, and they did a few things that I think were pretty salient. So first is that I was able to apply what I was learning in terms of my concentration in a sort of real world setting that wasn't at my job. And so with Net Impact, that was really closely linked to the policy and planning concentration. And then with International Business Students Global, that's really closely linked to the international management and strategy concentration. It also opened up a professional network that I didn't have because of the program or because of my job. And so with both Net Impact and International Business Students Global, the folks who are involved, both current members and alumni, have a large network, cross-global sort of network that because you're a member, you sort of have a shared bond. You also gain some notability within the Anderson community, so you get to know faculty who maybe wouldn't have interacted with otherwise. You get to know the dean and the administrative staff, and so those things are always useful when you're going forward looking for recommendations and that type of thing. And then also with both of those organizations, there was a ton of internship opportunities that I wouldn't have known about had I not been involved. And then the final thing is because this is a commuter campus and many of us work full-time, you oftentimes don't really get an option to, or an opportunity to interact with your peers in sort of a more informal social setting, and so student clubs can kind of become a mechanism for doing that.
That's great. Emily?
All right, I'm going to stand up and do a whole interactive here. So I just want to know, just from a show of hands in the room, just so I know who my audience is, how many of you have just completed your undergrad and just went straight into your MBA? So 3 of you. Now, how many of you currently are working full-time? Okay, the majority. All right. So, and when you're working full-time, how many of those are internships? 3 of you? Okay. All right. So let me just tell you that being a president of the Society of Human Resource Management here at Anderson opened a lot of doors for me. In fact, it got me what I would consider my dream job here, or with the Forest Service. So it was that interaction, being involved with a student organization who also had a parent organization, HRMA, Human Resource Management Association in New Mexico, also opened up even bigger doors. Because here you are, you go to these meetings and they're free for students, opened up these meetings, you go for free, and everybody who was anybody in human resources was at this meeting. So, I mean, what more could you ask for, right? So it was a really awesome opportunity. So that is something that you all should do too. I mean, you never know. I mean, there's several organizations here within Anderson, and even some that may not have even been formed yet, right? So when I started here at Anderson as an undergrad, I'd heard about Society of Human Resource Management, but heard that there was nothing like really in a foundation set. It was like, yeah, we've had that organization once before. So when I came in, literally it was 3 members, myself and and I got two friends and they're joining. So we started off. By the end of that first year, we had gained recognition nationally by the Society of Human Resource Management, and we had over 55 members. So that was great, just kind of also creating that avenue for other students to be able to become involved. So that might be something that you may not be getting here. There might not be an organization for you, but use your smart brains there and come up with something. So also as an undergrad, I joined a professional organization. That's the National Society of Hispanic MBAs. And if you didn't hear the strong tone there in the bio, one of my passions is working with the Hispanic community. So I'm going to write this down here.
Well, actually, I don't think you are. I was going to try to take notes, but
well, take out your pens. And it's not just for Hispanics. It's open to everybody. Again, it's gaining that network. And it's www.nshmba.org. And then there's, you'll see a link that says chapters, and you'll be able to find the New Mexico chapter. And right now, this is a new, fairly new organization within the New Mexico community. And on a national level, they have so many avenues to Fortune 500 companies. And like I said, it's not, strictly for Hispanics. And we welcome everybody to, attend our national conference. This year it's going to be held in Orlando in October. And sometimes there's even funding through the university to send students to the conference. So definitely become involved. And that was a couple different things passing through my head. But one of the other things I told my peers was, in networking with these different organizations, you never know who might be your next boss, right? So here we have William here. Hi, William. Nice to meet you. He might be the next, a senior executive within the Forest Service. I have no idea. So, gaining those networks is really paid off a lot for my friends. Friends that I have, that said, hey, Emily, could you take a look? And we're able to get them into a student internship, and then they made that transition into a permanent position. So definitely go out there. And I know it takes a lot of time. Like she stated, we all have full-time jobs. I was a mother of two, had to still go home and, cook the dinner and everything. But it was making that commitment, to your education, to your future. So good luck.
That's great. Thank you, Emily. And so Emily touched a lot on this, talking about internships. But my next question, again, pretty common theme in career development. We talk a lot about the importance of getting that on-the-ground experience, on-the-job experience, and a lot of you, even in this room, can speak to that importance. So I'd just like to turn it back to Mercy to ask the question, why is completing an internship critical to landing the job that you want when you graduate?
Okay. So I would say the first thing about internships that I learned through the program is that it's a really good opportunity to sort of test a career path and figure out what you want to do, but also what you don't want to do. So I thought I wanted to do international management and strategy, and so I went to the Middle East, and I realized, okay, I love working abroad, but I do not want to work in trade policy. I don't want to do tech transfer. And so had I not done that, I might have taken a position after school that really wouldn't have been a good fit, and I also might have had a concentration that wasn't a great fit. So similarly, it allows you to sort of test the skills that you're learning in the classroom and figure out where your personal gaps are. So if you really know the career you want to end up in, it's a good way to sort of benchmark yourself halfway through the program to figure out is there some class you could take to really make yourself more competitive. I would say it significantly increases your chances of having a job after school. Even if you don't love the internship you're in, at least you have the security of knowing that you will more than likely have some kind of opportunity in that organization, and that may give you some flexibility to pursue what you really want. And then, like with everything else you do while you're a student, it really increases your network. I was a student intern at Sandia and then ended up hiring into a different organization, but I still have a really strong network with the folks who I worked with as an intern, and still consult them probably monthly, I would say, for career advice. So I think for all of those reasons, it's a really valuable experience. Even if you are considering, like Kate said, I did a combination of graduate assistant and project assistantship part-time and then a part-time internship. That's a good way to kind of get a taste of both.
Great, thank you. Emily, I know you touched a little bit on internships. Maybe you could expand a little bit on the value of an internship towards landing that dream job when you graduate.
Sure. Okay, so and I'm a very non-traditional student, so like I said, I let's see, I started off as a music major. How's that? Human resources. I have no idea. But one of the things that I felt was important, in human resources, I mean, there's all different, avenues. You've got your public sector, and then your, private sector. So I just kind of wanted to try it out. So through the Society of Human Resource Management, I was able to gain an internship here at the university working in their human resource department. That was, let me tell you, a good experience. This is something that I knew that I did not want to work at. But nevertheless, it was something that I was able to, take on to my next internship, which was with Epicon Endosurgery. Again, private company, pretty big, so it was night and day from working, with the University of Mexico. And I know the university's, pretty big avenue, but it was completely different. I mean, to see this department had, 2 HR people per, I think, 600. So, I mean, they were just, I really talk about being shoved into, the thick of things. It was a really great opportunity. So then I thought, you start school and you're like, I'd really like to work for Intel. I'd really like to work for Google, So for me it was like, okay, I knew I needed to stay local. And I thought, okay, what better way? I'm going to work for my dream job, the U.S. Forest Service, right? I mean, they had just moved operations here to Albuquerque, and doing the research too is really important in those companies. So I was able to gain a student career experience program, and I knew, the first week I thought, this is great. Oh my gosh, these benefits, I mean, everything was just wonderful. And it was just proving to them that I could, get the job done. And at that point, they transitioned me to a permanent employee. So for those of you seeking federal experience, I'd love to talk to you and give you guys some tips on how to decipher those job announcement codes if you're really confusing. I'd love to talk to you.
Great. Well, thank you so much to Emily and to Mercy. And now, in our last couple of minutes, if anybody has any questions for these two ladies about their experience or important lessons, or
you said you got a graduate assistantship. Can you give tips and advice and other information about the best way to get one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So they definitely are competitive, but they're not impossible to get. So I think there's 2 things I would recommend. One is just make sure to keep in touch with the folks in career services and advisement so that you are adhering to the deadline, because you sort of have one shot, I think it's once a year, so you have 1 shot a year to get in your application. And so I would, just make sure you stay on top of that. And then 2, make sure that you sort of have a idea for what fields you want to work in, because oftentimes professors like to choose someone who is interested in pursuing their concentration, and so you want to have a good match. Similarly, if there's someone you really want to work with, someone can't just say, you're going to be my graduate assistantship, or you're going to be my graduate assistant, but if you mention, I'm interested in an assistantship, I'm interested in your research, here's why I'd like to work for you, then they might have that in the back of their mind when they're considering the applications.
Yeah, definitely, again, I think speaking to the importance of networking. Probably have time for just one more, if anybody has anything. Yeah.
Both mentioned you really had a lot of commitments. Do you have any advice for us as far as how to best manage your time, or how to prioritize?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's really no magic formula. I mean, it's gosh, I can't even tell you if there was one thing that kind of helped me, but I mean, it's definitely reviewing and organizing at the beginning of the week. Okay, this is what I have to do, and set your priorities as such. Obviously, you have an assignment due. That's going to be your priority and such. Usually, employers and internships are pretty flexible with the students, and hey, I've got this huge project due. Is there any way I can take off early or whatever? They're usually, I've not ever encountered one where they were like, are you crazy? No.
So they understand?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they know they're students, and a lot of them were students once as well,
Yeah. All right, unfortunately, we're out of time, but please help me thank Mercy and Emily. Okay.
So we want to welcome you all to the Anderson Alumni Panel, and I am here to introduce our distinguished alumni. This is Belinda Snyder and Timothy Sanchez Brown, and they're going to be speaking to you about what employers are looking for in an MBA graduate and how alumni can support you as a mentor. So I'm going to start by introducing Belinda. Belinda Snyder is currently the Program Manager of the Development Office within the Technology Transfer Division of Los Alamos National Laboratory. And since starting at the lab in 1993, she has worked with a broad range of staff and within a wide variety of programs to facilitate technology commercialization. Since 1997, Ms. Snyder has successfully mentored 90 future business leaders and has worked with over 100 new startup companies in northern New Mexico. Ms. Snyder earned both her BBA in marketing and her executive MBA from Anderson. She has been recognized as a top technology leader, having been named one of New Mexico Business Weekly's top 25 techies and 40 under 40 up-and-coming business leaders and who's who in technology. She's also been chosen as a future leader of New Mexico by the Santa Fe New Mexican and received distinguished performance awards from Los Alamos National Labs. Quite an alumni. Okay, I'd like to introduce Timothy Sanchez Brown. He is Vice Chairman of the Anderson Alumni Advisory Council and received his MBA from UNM in the spring of 2008. Currently, he works for CUNA Mutual Group as an implementation project manager, and he loves his new job, I hear. Timothy is also on the professional faculty at Anderson, teaching internal audit to graduate students in the spring. With a background in planning, technology management, and internal audit, Timothy is a dedicated credit union industry professional with over 11 years of experience. In Timothy's spare time, he enjoys riding his motorcycle and participating in civic ballet. I'm going to turn it over to you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Anderson. All right, so we're going to spend the next 15 minutes just sharing a couple pieces of advice, some anecdotes, and some stories with you about what we believe will prepare you for your journey into the professional world or your return to the professional world, however you're coming to Anderson. We've got about 2 years with you, maybe 4 if you're part-time, so we've got some time to cover some ground. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about today is professional etiquette and professional presentation or appearance. These are really important concepts for you to get a hold of. The business world, like it or not, is professional. This is a business school. You can be professional now, and you can be ready in 2, 3, 4 years when you're ready to be out in the real world. What does being professional look like? One thing is respecting time. Okay, time today is very valuable. Your time is valuable, my time is valuable, and if you're spending time with an executive or someone who works a 26-hour day, their time is extremely valuable. All right, so please respect that. Start things on time, end things on time, and be courteous. All right, if you have time with someone, use it to the most. Engage with words, eyes, and hands, I like to say. When you're talking to someone, be in the moment with them. Engage them. Look at them. I'm not saying eyeball them. Don't give them the hairy eyeball. That's not very professional. It's going to make people uncomfortable. But look at them. When you're talking to someone, talk to them. And if you're close enough to meet them, shake their hand. It's very common in our business culture in the Western world to shake hands. So really, no matter who it is, if you're engaging with someone and you're meeting with them, shake their hands. And if they're a CEO, then they'll respect you for it. There's not this power dynamic or this difference in an intern or a new hire. Really engage with people. And it creates a moment. And when you have that moment, then you can connect and you can really have the communication that you need. Let's see, dress. Dress is a very important part of professionalism. You can start that now, whether you're in school, whether you're in an internship. And people say, oh, I'm just a student or I'm just an intern. Well, you're never just anything. You are a student, you are an intern, or you're a professional, out in the real world. Dress appropriately. If not, dress one level higher. I've always been a big proponent of that. Dress like the next position that you want, and it's not such a leap because they see you dressing in that position already. So if you can add your performance to it, then we have the physical appearance and the way you conduct yourself. It seems natural. There's no freak out when there's a promotion because it seems, oh, of course, they were meant to be there all along. That's really what you want. Uh-oh, technology. Lights went out on me. Appreciate and acknowledge. This goes back to time management. When you're in an internship, when you're in an interview, or if you're just spending 30 minutes of time with someone and asking their opinion, okay, appreciate them. Thank them. It may be a verbal, it may be a phone call, or it may be a small handwritten letter. I can't tell you how professional and how far that goes. When I do an interview with someone, or if I give someone 30 minutes of my time, and I get a thank you note, that means the world, because it means that what I'm doing really is impacting them. And tell them something. Appreciate them, something that you got out of it. That really is a give back. You know, that's really what you can give to them. They gave their time to you, their experience and their insight. You can give them appreciation. That's a nice reciprocity. Speak and write appropriately. Really, I've seen this in my class. Masters of Accountancy students that are still struggling with writing and speaking. Really work on that. You know, look at your skills. Don't deliver first drafts, please, if it's the final. Reread it. Read other people's stuff. Use your peers. And really learn to use your words. Really get that like, you know, out of your vocabulary. That will kill. It's almost, you know, they used to say that if someone was smoking, that it makes someone less attractive. Well, it makes you less professional when every other word is If you don't know what to say, there's nothing wrong with the pause. Believe me, it's going to feel like 5 hours to you. They don't even notice it. All right? And then finally, be adaptable. I hear this in my class a lot, and I hear this with my 12-year-old daughter, and I hear it in the real world, the people I work with. That's not fair. No, it's not. Life is not fair. Okay? Now, what this has to do with being professional and polite is be adaptable. You know, if things change, don't call someone out on it. If they misspoke, don't call them out on it. If you can adjust and recover, do it. If things change on you, adjust course and do it. Don't complain. Don't call out. Just be professional. Adjust course, and you'll always be looked at as the one who's adaptable. And that is a very highly sought after trait. Change is only going to get more and more rampant across our professional culture. Be adaptable. All right? Belinda?
So I don't have any notes, so probably the advice I'm going to give you guys is totally different to what I gave the previous class, but I guarantee it will still be good. I think one of the reasons why we're here is to tell you guys what employers are looking for in this day and age. And I think what's really important for me when I am hiring students, and I do hire a lot of students, is distinction and differentiation. So, you know, looking at something that they have in their background that is different than everybody else, that puts them head and shoulders above, or even a hairline above or something, because there's so many of you applying now. And so without that, it's really hard to make these decisions. And the decisions are made on things like, well, this one was, you know, part of this club that was in marketing. And so they probably have some contacts. So I'm going to hire that person when everything else is equal. And so any time you can spend during this next 2 to 4 years to distinguish yourself, to get internships, to volunteer, to go to association meetings, to be part of the business plan competition, whatever you can do so that you can demonstrate that you are the above and beyond student is really going to help, because you're not just going to be competing against each other. You're competing against people who are re-entering the workforce, people who have lost their job. So, you know, it's a lot more crowded now for the people that we are looking at, and the jobs are fewer and far between. So, you know, you guys unfortunately or fortunately need to work harder. So I love that he talks about professional etiquette, because, you know, when I was your age and I was doing my MBA, I was the, you know, anti-etiquette. You know, I was always late. I just, you know, I had my own sense of style, you know, and believe it or not, even today, people still look at you and make a judgment based on your appearance and especially if you're late to something. And I still struggle with that today. I did read something the other day that says people who are late are self-centered, and so now I get it. But it's because you're not conscious of other people's time. You know, you're so in your own head that you're not conscious of other people's time. And, you know, sometimes people only give you one chance to make an impression, and you show up 5 or 10 minutes late, and they've already in their mind thought, well, this person doesn't really care about me or doesn't really care about time, you know. And there's only so many flat tires you can have, and I actually should write a book on all the traffic on the freeway. So I think it's really important that you really take his advice to heart, because it does absolutely make a difference. The other advice I would give you guys is, when I'm looking at new staff or new students, one of the things I'm looking for is a skill set or knowledge that I don't have. So right now, you know, social networking is the big thing, and using apps, you know, to do your work, all, you know, productivity tools, those are really big. And we have a workforce where we have people who are 50 plus, and then, you know, Gap, and then you guys. And so we're looking to you guys, the new people in the workforce, to kind of retrain how we do things, to recreate how you get the job done. And so you need to come into the job basically, or come into the interview, you're the expert. You have something to provide that this company needs, that they don't know, that they're not conversant in. And, you know, whether you are an expert or not, make them believe that you know what you know about that topic, you want to learn about that topic, and you can help them. Because again, that could be a differentiator. If we are interviewing 2 people and one has built a database that can produce infographics, for instance, which is something we're trying to do right now, you know, I would totally hire that person, because that's something we don't have that competency. So if somebody could bring that in, that would be completely awesome. So those are my random thoughts of what you guys should do over the next 2 to 4 years.
Belinda keyed in on being a differentiator, and I think that's one of the most important things. I'm glad she brought it up. There are a couple approaches you can take to your professional career. If you've all read Good to Great, there's the hedgehog concept. This is where you do one thing and you do it well. You not only do you do it well, you do it above all others. There's also the principle of zigzagging, where you're more of a generalist and you bring different skill sets with you. Okay, so this is going to differentiate you and make for a happy career, or you can differentiate now as a graduate student. When you all graduate, your marketing cohorts are going to be 15 or 20 of you. Accounting, there are going to be 30 or 40 of you for 4 spots. Finance majors, whatever your position, you're going to leave here and be competing with your cohorts. And that's fantastic too. I mean, because they're all just as qualified as you are, but if you can bring something else. You all have the same marketing experience, you all have the same accounting background, you all have the same finance background. But if you can differentiate yourself with those clubs, with that student leadership, with that internship, okay, then you're going to be different and you're going to stand out. In your career, you can differentiate too. If you know what you want to do, you want to be in this industry or you want that position, I say don't make a beeline for it. You're going to be working for a long time. Enjoy the ride. Go in that direction, but zigzag. Stop and smell the roses. As I told the group before, I've done a lot of things. I've been a firefighter, I've been a classical DJ, I've been a high-rise window cleaner. I even drove the parking shuttle at the Sunport for about 30 minutes. But I've also...
Then you just leave it at the side of the road? I don't
did.
like this. You did?
Well, I got it stuck.
Oh.
A real bad trainer. That's a question. That's a story for some other time. But I've also been a planner. I've been a technologist and an internal auditor. Now I'm a program manager. Okay. But as I'm going through my career, I love the credit union industry, but I'm doing different things along the way. So I'm not going to be like any other internal auditor you probably ever met. I'm also going to be a technologist who knows internal audit. Okay. I also know classical music. So I'm telling you, really enjoy your careers. You know, differentiate yourself now. And then once you get hired, differentiate in your careers, and you'll have a much more enjoyable and fulfilling and rewarding career.
Okay, so we have a couple minutes. Does anybody have a question for Belinda or Timothy?
I have one. Kind of along the lines of a hedgehog versus a zigzagger. In this competitive marketplace, people are probably hiring for one specific thing, and they're going to go after the hedgehog that happens to line up. So if you go through this zigzag career, do you have any thoughts as to how to balance between zigzagging while still being able to compete with with other hedgehogs?
Sure, right, yes. That's a good idea. That's a good question, because a lot of times we have zigzaggers that are considered, that their parents just scratch their heads and say, what are you going to do? You need to keep your zigzagging to a much more focused trajectory. But like what Belinda just said, with the experience that she's looking for in infographics, when you tie that database to infographics, that's a lot different than someone who's just a DBA, or someone who understands infographics but not the database world. So really, I would say the hedgehogs in the end are going to lose out because she's hiring the skill sets that she needs. So I'm saying if you can keep that zigzagging focused, I think you'll be more competitive than the hedgehogs.
Great, thank you both.
And woo, hasn't it been so exciting so far? Aren't you thrilled?
Yeah.
Okay, so this rotation you are going to hear from some of our student club leaders. They're going to talk to you about what their particular club does. They're just going to give a brief overview, and then we're going to open the floor up for discussions. So start thinking of your questions now, and then we can go from there. So first up, I've got Jason from the Rotaract Club.
Yes, right at the
Good evening, everybody. So Rotaract is part of Rotary International. Has anybody ever heard of Rotary? Yes, one person. Okay, great. So Rotary is actually the largest service organization in the world. There's about 1.3 million members, and Rotaract is the college level of Rotary. It's open to all people, all students ages 18 to 30, and the core, the foundation of the group lies around service. So service in the community, locally and internationally. There are other aspects of the club that make it a great student experience and great to be a part of. We have networking nights. There's over 1,000 Rotarians in Albuquerque. CEO of Bank of Albuquerque, president of Red Cross New Mexico, things like this. These are the type of people that are in the club and they're eager to reach out to students. So hopefully we're trying to get something going with Anderson, a career event, co-sponsoring that. Other aspects of the club will be doing a lot of traveling, visiting other clubs, visiting district meetings and things like this, leadership seminars, workshops, that sort of thing. We also take part a lot in international as well. So we have students from Denmark, Sweden, Korea, China, all in the group as well. So it's very much international. I think there's 8,000 clubs in 170 different countries. At UNM here, a couple things we have for the year ahead. We are doing a couple service projects, one with the UNM hospital. They have a program called Child Life. And it's the really sick children that are undergoing surgery, they're undergoing cancer, chemotherapy, treatment, and what happens is they actually end up losing school time because of their treatment. So they need academic tutors, and that's what we're going to be doing for them as well, and really just getting involved in their lives. Another thing we're going to be doing is there's a shelter in Albuquerque called New Day. It's a homeless shelter that takes in particularly youth that have gone homeless, maybe they've been abused or something like this, and they have a lot of different opportunities within there. So we're going to try to set up a career fair with them, with Rotarians and just local community leaders to try and see how we can benefit them. So the club is really all about enhancing the lives of both the students and the project recipients as well. And that's kind of what we're involved in. Just a little bit, I have to head out unfortunately after this, but there will be a sign-up sheet if you're interested in the group. It's going to be by the cookies. Which is good. You can grab something to eat as well. And we'll also be at the recruitment events here around UNM. There's the Welcome Back Days. There's the Friday Night Live tomorrow in the Student Union building. Anderson Club Days will be at all those. So if you don't get around to that, you can also talk to us there and meet some of the members and see if you like it. And we're also, last thing is that we're having an informational meeting on August 31st. Thursday or Friday, I'm not sure. Anyways, and that'll be a good time to learn more about the group as well. But if you're interested, we can meet one-on-one with you and just tell you a little bit more about it. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jason.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to University of New Mexico and Anderson School of Management. My name is Saheb, and I'm an MBA student here as well. I'm representing Graduate and Professional Student Association. Now, why do you want to get involved in GPSA if you want to? Basically because GPSA has taken $25 already from your pocket. So as an MBA student, you might want to think, okay, what's the return on investment? So basically, how you can get this $25 back, there's a lot of opportunities. You can, first of all, you can get involved in the GPSA, which is like an umbrella of the association throughout the university. You can increase your network at the GPSA. There is also a lot of grants available. Last year, GPSA gave about $100,000 in grants. So you can come there, see how to apply for those grants. Also, you can become a grant reader. And then after that, you can use the printer facility, printer lab for free, whereas all of the places here charge for the printings. But there we have a lab and you can print as much as you can. So there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of ways to network and to make friends over there, get involved in the campus community, and that's what GPSA is all about. Hope to see you all there. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Joy, and I'm the Vice President of AGBS, which is the Associated Graduate Business Students. And I'm also here at Anderson getting my MBA in Policy and Planning. I'm about to start my second year. And AGBS is a student organization like GPSA. We already have some of your money. $10 a semester comes to us, and we plan a lot of mixers and get to know you event, networking events. Really our goal is to build a community here with all the graduate students in the business program. And so if you want to learn more about our events, we have a little flyer in your notebook. There's a dinner after here right across the way and also you can follow us on Facebook, and we try to post our current events on there as well.
And I'm Grace, and I'm the president of AGBS. One of the other things that we're responsible for is we provide representation on the GPSA Council, which is the legislative body of the Graduate and Professional Student Association. So Anderson is the second largest graduate department at UNM, so we get 7 reps on council, and we're currently looking for more. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you. We have our council chair here. It's Chris Miranda right there. He's a philosophy student, and he can answer questions. And also, if you would like the first meeting, council meets the first Saturday, or the last Saturday of every month, and the first meeting is going to be on the 25th of August. So it'd be a great way, if you're kind of considering it, you can come out and see how it works and see without any commitment if you're interested. So we're going to send around this clipboard over here if you just want to find out more information, or if you want to come to that first meeting without any obligation to become a rep. Sign up, we'll send you more information and hopefully get you involved. It's a really great way to meet other people from other departments, since every department has representation on council. It's really great. So that's it.
Yep. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Brown. I'm an MBA student here in International Management and Management of Technology. I'm also a project assistant over at the Graduate Resource Center. And the Graduate Resource Center isn't a student club. It is a Title V PPOHA educational initiative funded through the U.S. Department of Education under the Office of Graduate Studies for UNM. So what do? We're an information, referral, and resource hub for that provides free programs and services that tailored to fit the needs of graduate professional students. And that's through boot camps, writing dissertation boot camps, different sorts of workshops, and also a graduate online writing lab, which is an online, you can submit your pieces of writing up to 5,000 words online, and you can have a later year PhD candidate look over your writing and get it back to you within 72 hours. We have all of this information that I'm giving you is in the pamphlet that's in your manila folder. And also in your manila folder is a list of our workshops, which are from 12 to 1 every Wednesday. And also this semester we are starting an online version of our workshops, which you can check out. It's provided through Adobe Connect, where you can get on and listen to the workshop from home. If you have any questions, I encourage you to stop by our office, schedule a consultation with one of our consultants, and really get to know the center and some of the services and the people that are there providing the services. Thank you.